Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of No More Kids in Scientology. In today's episode, we're going to be reacting to a video done by Marty Rathbun. Marty Rathbun was the so-called Deputy Inspector General for Ethics. So keep that in mind, you guys. Put that on your notes. Marty Rathbun, Inspector General of Ethics. And with that context, really take a look at what this man is admitting for himself that he was doing while he was there at the hotel role-playing that role that right about now is not quite adding up to what he's said on the public record and his current agreement, monetary agreement to, shut the F up about what he, David Miscavige, Marty Rathbun, David Cook, all executives of Scientology were doing, scheming inside of the hotels and doing exactly what this man is saying right here. He fully admits to it. So let's react to it.
One of the first things I did is I had to go down and interrogate everybody who participated in the Lisa McPherson matter. And Mark, a great deal of them didn't even speak English. I had to have translators.
So did you guys get that? So Marty Rathbun, who we've already revealed before, had a knack for interrogating underage girls and underage boys that were in the hotel. So-called Sea Org members, that underage kids that Marty Rathbun was all about interrogating. So apparently Marty Rathbun tells you here that he was also all about interrogating foreigners that didn't speak English. He was interrogating them. So why were you interrogating them exactly, Marty Rathbun? Why were you doing that?
Okay. Because Flag had created, being the way Scientology has been corporatized, just like corporate America, they have shipped in people from third world countries, from Central America and South America and Mexico.
They have shipped people, Marty? Who's they? Deputy Inspector General of Ethics that you were. Who's they corporatizing by getting people from third world countries, including myself, mind you, to, yes, come work at your literal hotel?
Mexico, who handle almost all of their maid services for their public in their hotels, almost all of their catering service, almost all of their kitchen labor and all that.
So give it up to Marty Rathbun, you guys here, fully admitting that they traffic foreigners. Imagine the FBI that has already had on their hands this type of admissions from the second in command of these hotels, the one that was handling all their ethics, the Inspector General of Ethics, RTC, Marty Rathbun. Corporatizing America, Marty Rathbun. There's nothing to do with reality. You're blabbing in blabbing terms and saying nothing. And imagine no one pulls the string on you, on all the out points that you're like here spewing. And nobody can pull the literal string on what in the hell you're saying. Admitting to trafficking. You guys, here it is on video so that everyone can see that it is Marty opening his mouth and closing it.
Matter. And they had people like that being on the watch. They didn't know anything about Scientology. They didn't know anything about mental health. They didn't even know how to speak the language. Okay. And
And it's true, you guys. They had people like that on the watch, he just called it. On the watch. What's the watch? Glad y'all asked, since we are speaking of Lisa McPherson. The watch was carried out by foreigners brought in to America to watch while a woman was going crazy inside of a Clearwater, Florida hotel, locked up against her will, being restrained from escaping. Imagine how that wouldn't drive someone literally crazy. Y'all saw the video circulating of Cassie being what? Restrained, beaten, dragged in a hotel by her abusers. Well, what in the literal hell do y'all think happened with Lisa McPherson being dragged, being grabbed against her literal will by foreigners brought in from other countries, as Marty Rathbun just admitted? To what? To lock up that woman and not let her out. Scientology did not let Lisa McPherson leave. Imagine that the Continental, where P. Diddy has now been seen on video grabbing and trying to restrain her from leaving. Who had the video surveillance of everything going on in the hotel? Who had the contemporaneous notes being written about all the things that these people had been giving themselves a license to do? Because by all means, ask yourselves those type of questions right about now. Really do start doing some soul searching.
And I don't know if it was the majority, but a lot of the people that I had to interrogate. In fact, the woman that they said had doctor credentials, Janice Johnson was one of them. There was another woman, Laura Arnuda, and she didn't speak a lick of English. And yet they were arresting.
And Ilona Bauer. Did you forget Ilona Bauer, Marty Rathbun? Because Ilona Bauer was the one that would go and give Debbie Cook her massages. So just in case you don't know who Ilona Bauer is, she was brought in from Hungary, believe it or not. So I guess third world country from Europe, you know, consistent with what you were just talking about, being brought in to, massage Debbie Cook whenever she had a neck ache. Debbie Cook be like, oh, Ilona, I need Ilona right now. Please go get Ilona. Get her to come do my massage really quick. I'm Debbie Cook. I'm very stressed. I need a massage. My fibromyalgia is really acting out. So Ilona Bauer was also tapped, and lucky for you, she did speak English. So lucky for you, plenty of people that were on that watch also spoke English. Lucky for you, Alan Kardasinski spoke English. Anne Glushikow spoke English. Richard Reese spoke literal English. People that were on the watch, people that were watching it on video, that were being reported to with time, place, form, and event A to Z. What's going on with Lisa today? Oh, she tried to escape. She really did beat somebody and tried to run out, but don't worry, we grabbed her. Oh, and don't worry, you guys, there's no $50K to pay to keep the footage confidential, because you know what? Why? They own the hotel. They own the hotel. So in what world are they really doing any type of negotiating with, oh yeah, 50K, so this footage keeps very hidden? They own the hotel. They own it. They owned everything that was going on with Lisa. Everything. They had everything on themselves.
their laurels on the fact that we had a doctor who couldn't really even speak to Lisa, nor speak to the other people that were involved there without somebody translating for us.
So a doctor from Mexico. So you see, guys, how they're not just bringing people to do the third world country stuff. They also brought this woman doctor from Mexico that is not licensed whatsoever to be using her medical license inside of a hotel. But don't you worry about it. Inside of these hotels, who cared? Who literally cared? Who was going to come check if some unlicensed doctor was literally handing out medical advice to a woman that she couldn't even speak to in her own language? I mean, and let's not forget that this was a case, a criminal case that Florida dropped. That all of a sudden was like, oh no, I really think that, we already saw how they corrupted the literal witness, the literal medical examiners, all the corruption that went on for that. So let's not forget that this is all blood stained all over Clearwater Beach. Who decided Lisa McPherson, should really expect better luck next lifetime, which is all we ever get from these Florida officials that are aiding and abetting everything you see Marty Rathbun admitting to in full.
So, yeah, no, there absolutely was no qualifications for any of this. I mean, we had to find out from the St. Pete Times 3 years into the case that the doctor who was supposed to be the attending doctor, Janice Johnson, had let her license lapse after she'd been busted by the Arizona Board of Medicine for, taking the painkillers that she was supposed to be an expert in administering.
Imagine that. With all the investigative powers of Scientology, with all the questionnaires as to who are you, where did you get your medical license, who did this, who did that, this Janice woman, you guys, in what world was Debbie Cook out of the loop? They told us when they found her and a dentist, oh, you guys, it's great. We just got a doctor and a dentist, so you guys are really going to get care now. Imagine that the dentist took out my wisdom teeth with literally no anesthesia. And then they went with this woman doctor, lost her license for being an opiate addict. I was a minor when that happened to me. When those wisdom teeth were pulled out of me with no anesthesia, it was the most disgusting, horrific experience of my life. I was sent home with nothing. They just told me, well, wake up your roommate and maybe get an assist if it's really hurting. Get an assist. Feel my finger is what in the hell these people were sending you home with after they pulled your teeth. So imagine the type of people that they were really having inside of the hotel. Imagine that everyone knew. Everyone knew. Marty Rathbun ordered the destruction of key documents concerning the final days of Lisa's life. So just let that sink in as well.
And those were the 3 documents or 3 reports that myself, Elliot Abelson, general counsel for the church, and Lynn Farney, who was a staff member, decided ought to go. And of course, I was the senior person there, so I said, lose them. And, but we had discussed it, and they had culled them and pulled them out as these being things that we wouldn't want people to see.
So Elliot Abelson,
when we say that the attorneys propping up this scheme couldn't be more implicated up to their neck and ears in complicity, here's Exhibit A. Here's literal Exhibit A. so that people who want to literally misunderstand us and say, oh, here's Exhibit A. Here's Marty Rathbun's own words.
Attorney actually was in on.
Oh, Elliot Abelson was absolutely in on this. Elliot Abelson supervised the whole thing. It was done in Elliot Abelson's office within the Church of Scientology headquarters at 6331 Hollywood Boulevard, the 10th floor where the OSA offices. They have in-house offices set up for lawyers, one of which was for Elliot Abelson, and that was done in his office. That's where those folders were. One of the first things I did is I had to go to
So there you go, guys. That is literally from Marty Rathbun's own voice, telling you that the attorneys have offices in the 10th floor of that Hollywood Guarantee Building address. And that, yes, under the supervision of attorneys, they shred files they deem too inconvenient for someone to see. Never mind that the files are written up and collected with a straight face. So it's done with full knowledge, it's done with full impunity, Marty Rathbun. You should really look up that word for yourself right about now. Learn what with impunity means. If you were destroying evidence, if you were shredding things that you had been keeping on yourselves as it was ordered to you by your master and commander, L. Ron Hubbard, who really wrote a lot of great ideas for himself, convicted felon that he was. So that is literally what we have from Marty Rathbun, you guys. And all we have is more questions for you, Marty Rathbun, because the strings are literally everywhere. There's a ton of strings to pull. And the Sherman tank is right there where you the hell sit today. You should be asking yourself, what in the hell have you done in front of a mirror? And invite other Scientology parents and adults to join you in that questionnaire that you should be sec checking yourself on right about now. You should start your own solo sec check. We don't give an F what it takes for you to come clean, but you know what? Come clean. Start coming actually clean. Stop misdirecting. Stop giving paperclip BS with Holtz Marty Rathbun, because literally that's all you've been doing, giving these paperclip withholds, blabbed your mouth without anyone being able to pull a shred of string. So you left all those strings out there and we are pulling on them. So start answering the questions. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all extremely soon. Bye-bye.